The work of Cotinelli Telmo and Christine da Silva is a natural expression of the totalitarian art developed in Europe between the two world wars and in the communist countries until the fall of the Berlin Wall. The supremacy of the political objectives, the state control of the art movement, of the artists, and of the avant-garde tendency in benefit of the monumental classicism, historicism, and eclecticism in the architecture can be contemplated here in the university. Architecturally, the monumental classicism dominates. We can observe this in the Faculty of Letters, the General Library, and in the Grand Staircase, still commonly known as the Monumental Stairs, which is the main access to the Dom Dinis Square. It is from this square that the Larga Street begins, in which all the faculties are disposed. The monumental classicism can be seen in the first faculty of the course, the mathematics faculty, with its great gateway, carved by Gustavo Bastos. Then we can see the faculties of medicine and the ones of physics and chemistry, which were built after the Faculty of Letters and the library, and of the unexpected death of Cotinelli Telmo in 1948, who was replaced by Christine da Silva. He led the construction of these two faculties. This replacement did not alter the guiding principles, but the monumental classicism lost its power. In the Faculty of Medicine building, 1951-1956, designed by Lucinio Guia da Cruz, dominates the invariable repetition of windows where only the two portals framed by busts in low relief give a note of grandiosity. The Faculty of Physics and Chemistry, designed by the same architect, was victim of constant programs of renovation and lengthy construction delays. The Faculty of Mathematics was completed in 1969 and the Physics and Chemistry's faculty only in 1975. Times were different. The resistance to monumentality classicizing had changed. However, Alberto José Pessoa drew the two most significant buildings, the University of Letters and the General Library. The stripping and the hardness expression of the Faculty of Letters was built between 1945 and 1951, but no decorativism permission was allowed. In front of the current Faculty of Letters, Alberto José Pessoa converted the old Faculty of Letters into the main library. The attention was focused on the facade facing the Porta Ferrea Square, which has been radically changed, not for functional reasons, but for the sole purpose of adapting to the monumental classicism stylistic. This language is reflected in the final work with the monumental facade and the ground floor window completely blind. The integration of arts is evident in the University of Coimbra. The new state used the sculpture movement to ennoble the public space, to soften the facades, and to pass the ideological paradigm. And that's what happened profusely, especially in the Porta Ferrea Square, with statues and sculptural groups of scientists or kings, and scenes from the history to philosophy, the eloquence, the poetry, the medical science, physics, and chemistry. The statues and murals that exist everywhere in the university city are the result of a careful ideological consideration with two fundamental objectives: the nationalism represented by the history and culture and the universalism figured by antiquity. We finally get inside the Faculty of Law by the Ferrea Gate, which in the first centuries agglutinated all the faculties of the University of Coimbra. Now it is the only existent Faculty of Law and the oldest building of the complex. In it is included o Paço das Escolas, the patio of the schools, which suffered some changes with the plan of the new state. This place is undoubtedly the great symbol of the whole University of Coimbra, including also the emblematic University Tower. Times change, and right now the upper city of Coimbra is undergoing through a new phase. A movement is taking care of the university area. Several interventions that are being developed to boost the candidacy of the entire space of the University of Coimbra to the World Heritage of UNESCO. The rehabilitation of buildings and of the University Tower, the creation of a center for interpretation and dissemination to receive tourists, the interventions in the patio of the schools, the Larga Street, and in the outside of buildings of physics and chemistry, with study rooms and recreational night places, are some of the works that promise to make and contribute to the revitalization of the historic center. The architect Gonçalo Birne is one of the main architects of these interventions, and he is responsible for interventions in the patio of the schools and the Center for Interpretation and Dissemination of the University of Coimbra. The Architect Birne project predicts that the patio of the schools will regain a specific configuration after having served temporarily as a parking place for decades and in these recent years as a yard. It aims to create a series of stone pathways that intersect and connect the various structures of the courtyard, facilitating the movement of citizens. In addition to a more decent aspect, the officers of the university expect that these changes will have positive consequences for tourism. We finish our route with the tower of the University of Coimbra, the great symbol of this city. Its construction started in 1728 and was completed in 1733. King João III has justified its construction by saying there could not be a good order without a clock. At the top of the clock, a viewpoint is opened from which we can enjoy the panorama of the city and the valley of the river Mondego. Recently, a restoration of the stone structure and security conditions took place. In this tower is placed among other bells the famous one called Cabra, which for students mark the hour for the waking up and returning home. The tower is an iconic image as a lighthouse is, not only of the university but also of the city of Coimbra itself.